So I wanted to make a real quick one because I think I saw the guy actually walk by, and he's kind of making sure to cover himself up a lot. Possibly worried about just the atmosphere. But you see, when you read tattoos, because that's what you did, in the 80s and 90s, is you know how a lot of us grew up. You had to read a guy's tattoos because you didn't know what was coming. Well, one guy who came by where I was working, nobody knew his tattoos. The present era of time, people don't really understand the tattoo culture, the subcultures that were particularly fond of tattoos and such, and so there's something that I really had to sit back and I'm like, oh, none of you noticed that. These are all people who they're pretty liberal people. They're pretty liberal people, but they probably consider themselves anti-fascist in one way or another. They don't like Trump. They're not terribly fond of Trump. But what's interesting is somebody walks up with NLR boldly tattooed on them. You could not miss it. Like, this guy was an old G of that gang. And nobody registered because they didn't know the tattoos. And I'm just sitting there watching everybody like, you guys have no idea who you're giving food to, do you? It was, and I'm like, okay, people in the Northwest need to stop pretending that there's a bunch of tough guys saving the country from the NLR, being that no one would know them if they walked up with the tattoos right in their face. I was just like, okay, and my thing is, I'm not, nope, history is history. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't know, homie. I don't know homie's history. I don't know. He might know these guys who I see down the street all the time, that it looks like they were once kind of crewed up when they were locked up, is what it looks like. Like, there's a few faces I've seen around town for a long time, and they know those guys. And those guys seem to be an old crew of boneheads, possibly. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. That's their hit. That it's done now. We're all old. Doesn't matter to me, because a long time ago, I got to hear lots of stories about what went down with Metzger and that bunch way back, like way back. And it was one of these things, like, these guys have their own problems, just like all men who live with, all of us men who are rebellious against God's will and his commands. We all end up serving God at some point. Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. All right, take care.